first time seeing one of my videos, I hope that this video will intrigue you and will cause you to want to stop by more often. So today I'll be speaking about my experience in email marketing. So I'll kick things off. So I was employed many moons ago at a email marketing firm that specialized in people-based marketing. Specifically, they were able to reach people in the environments in which they frequent. So the goal of the company was to advertise and market to people in the right time at the right place. So how we were able to do this was we would place live tags within the newsletters of our publishing partners. So ideally, this was how the business worked operationally. Other key things to note is that the reason why they decided to own in on people-based marketing is because they wanted to guarantee that they were actually speaking to a person opposed to a pixel. So through email marketing, specifically newsletter email marketing, as you know, you have to download the image. Oftentimes, a person has to opt into a newsletter to receive that content. So that's how we can guarantee that we're actually hitting a person in real time and it's not a bot or fraudulent information. So I definitely say that that was like a smart way to go about their business practices because it's 100% guaranteed. Unless, of course, someone creates a new email address, which typically is not the case, as you know. Most people tend to keep their email addresses for years, if not for a lifetime. So ways in which the company would perform their people-based marketing was, as mentioned, they're placing their live tags within their newsletter. They also did this type of marketing through their own proprietary email marketing platform. So there were two sides to the business. They had the SSP side of the platform and they also had the DSP side of the platform. So an SSP is a supply side platform and a DSP is a demand side platform. Most of you tech people will know exactly what I'm speaking about. And on top of that, there was also an ad server. So I personally haven't seen a lot of companies that worked on developing all three at once. Typically, as you know, they're standalone platforms, but I thought that their platform was pretty unique given that it worked in tandem with these three arms to be able to guarantee that we were getting a return on our ad spend for each advertiser. So ways in which we would own in on ensuring that we were hitting the right audience at the right time is, at the time, the company used hash files. So what this would mean was when a company or advertiser would come to us with their CRM file, which is their customer relationship management files. Specifically, these files tend to have information on the user, specifically their email address, home address, their phone number, and other personal information. We would then hash this file. So we would turn it into alphanumeric codes or values. So alphanumeric just means that it was a scramble of different letters as well as numbers. So we would hash the file to not be able to be responsible for PII or personal identifying information. So that's how we not only covered our backs by being transparent with the user on how we were using their information, but we also wanted to ensure their privacy. So these are steps that we took to ensure that their personal information could never be bought or sold on the web or become public without their will. So once we would hash this file that we would get from different brands and advertisers, we would then be able to go within the email marketing platform and input the targeting. So to take a step back, as you know, when you get an RFP, typically the client would outline what their KPIs are and also any geo targeting, age targeting, demo targeting, and to close out the negotiation stage, you also need a signed insertion order. So this was the process that I would typically take before then setting up the campaign within their email marketing platform. So once the pre-sale side is done, I would then get into the post-sale side, in which I would go into the email marketing platform. Once there, I'd enter in the budget, I'd enter in the flight dates of how long the campaign would be running, as well as the geo-targeting, whether it was US only, certain cities within the US, states, or regions. You could also put in zip codes, and there was also the capability to internationally target certain campaigns. So it really just depended on the client's initiative. Say, for instance, you were trying to hit a certain audience. So say people that have opened your newsletters before. The client would then send us the CRM list that we would hash, and then from there we'd be able to directly target against this. Or say, for instance, you know that a specific user already got your marketing message and you wanted to suppress against it, we would negatively target this list. So both capabilities were available within the DSP. So this is how we, for the most part, did email marketing at the company. I was actually able to still be at the company as they were building out their identity graph, which was pretty awesome actually, because at the time, the largest competitor that we had was Facebook. So we were directly behind Facebook in the technologies in which we were powering, or we were behind innovating. So we developed a tag that we were able to place within the header of a newsletter. And how it worked was that it was able to connect the dots between people on the web as well as users on their mobile device or CTV, etc. So how it would work is once the tag was placed within the header of the newsletter, it would then break out 3 distinct segments on the back end that we could then see within our UI. So what I mean by this is that it would break out a prospecting bucket. So it was smart enough to see that, hey, this user was never on our site, so we want to continue to build information on these users to be able to market to them. So that was one of the segments that the tag would build out as it was placed. Another segment is that we were able to also retarget users. So say, for instance, that user moves from being a prospecting customer to now taking certain actions on the site, but they might not have necessarily gotten to the thank you page, which, as you know, the thank you page is the final confirmation of a user closing the sales funnel. If we notice that they got to this step but they didn't necessarily take an action, we would then be able to remarket these users with a similar message or one that was more appealing to them depending on the time in which they visited. And lastly, the third bucket that the tag would create was a remarketing bucket. So we were able to then be able to remarket users based on a product feed. So brand or advertiser, say for instance, they had a list of different items on their site, we would be able to then target these users by showing them ads that we thought would be the most appealing to them based on their purchase intent. So it was actually pretty cool because this was also a proprietary part of their business that they were just building out. And as many of you know, the cookie is going away in digital marketing. So we're not going to be able to collect user data on people like we have been historically doing for years. So the fact that the company was so far ahead during the time in which they were creating this footprint says a lot. It says actually that they were at the forefront of the changes that are currently taking place across the digital marketing landscape. So this experience for me was yet another experience where I was able to not only work with different types of people or people from different socioeconomic backgrounds, but it was also an opportunity for me to hone in on my technical skills. And because of this company, I could say that I deeply understand the ad tech and the martech industry and what it really requires to be a trailblazer in this field is definitely not easy. There's going to be nights in which you probably won't get rest because you're probably still worked up about something that you were working on earlier in the day. And what I mean by that is that you're just like really excited to see it come to life and get it executed. So there's definitely going to be nights like that in which you might be a little tireless and it's hard for you to get rest because you're just eager to get to work, to learn new things, and to be able to continue to make an impact for your brands and your advertisers and driving their business outcomes. So I hope I was able to teach you something today, not only about tech, but also about myself and my background. And I hope to see you again soon and possibly even work on helping you with your business and your brand. Thank you.